Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guests may not represent those of the station or the host. Folks, I always have exceptional guests with me today, and I have an exceptional guest today, very unique in her own way. My guest is Peruquois. That's one name. She is an international recording star, renowned wisdom teacher, a master of multicultural music from jazz to Indian classic to a sound uniquely her own. Peruquois can have 4 different sounds coming out. I highly recommend going on Peruquois' website, which will be in the blog, and also on YouTube, where you can hear Peruquois sing. And it's amazing to hear Peruquois sing. Peruquois went to Western Australia Academy of Performing Arts as a jazz vocalist, and she facilitates women's workshops. And she really is very much into empowering women. She is if I can pronounce this word right, lyricist and composer of her own songs. Did I say that right? That's early here.
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. She's a lyricist.
Lyricist, there you go. She's Australia's #1 world music artist, and I want to welcome Peruquois. She is, I'm talking to her from Russia. It's my first call from Russia. So welcome, Peruquois, to Chatting with Betsy.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to be with you. It sounds like you might need a little water there. Always such a mouthful introducing me.
You are welcome. Yeah, I have a chronic cough, so but I do always have water with me. Peruquois, can you? It's lovely to have you, and welcome to Chatting with Betsy. And it's early here. It's 9 o'clock in in my part of the U.S., and I haven't had my coffee yet. But that's okay. That's okay.
Let me see. I can give you a very positive charge then.
How did you become your unique sound? How did that come to be? Because your voice is just unique. Like it's not even copied. You know how now like a lot of artists, they're like copycats. I call them cookie cutters. They all sound the same. Nobody sounds like you, which is cool.
Thank you, my dear. I guess it's it's a voice that has crossed through an enormous life experience. You mentioned my jazz training. Back when I was 18, I was conservatorium trained. I'm 53 now, and my whole life has been devoted on 2 paths at the same time. And somebody said to me, you can't have 2 pathways. You have to choose. Either you're a singer, performer, or you're a workshop facilitator, like a feminine teacher. And but for me, they completely coincide with each other. So I'm someone that's been on a very deep, I guess you would say, quest for life, for love, for truth, for all those important things, And I've had an extraordinary life, and everything that I've been through has definitely come into my composition, and it has enriched or opened up new frequencies in my voice. Now, a lot of singers, they sing in one particular style, right? They might be a pop singer, they might be a blues singer or Indian classical. But the experience of my life has taken me to such a phenomenal journey that I really, really wanted to get to the very source of sound itself. So even taking a step deeper than singing, like where does the sound, the vibration, the music come from? And believe it or not, I was extremely blessed through one of those dark night of the soul moments in my life when I was about 23. And I was well into my jazz career by this stage, like carving my way to success, and realizing that I was totally not on the right path. And I went to this very, very special place in Australia, by mountain, by the sea. And I just cried out for help and said, how is it that I could be, so on the edge of success and so deeply unhappy? Where have I lost my way? And I went through a very profound awakening when it was like an answer came to me through the elements, through the wind, through those Pacific waves, and through the rocks. And I had this very an experience that I couldn't understand with my mind, but it was as though these elements just came and sang through me, and I followed the vibration of the wind, of the water crashing on the rocks. And this very dark moment in my life where I felt like I was totally lost, it was as though I sang myself into such a place of utter love and silence and inner beauty that had nothing to do with being a jazz singer, that had nothing to do with anything I had ever sung before. It was as though the very spirit of the earth or the vibration of nature just came and opened up my voice and restored an innate connection that I think every human being actually has, but we don't follow it. It restored that authentic, original voice that is connected to life, that's connected to the planet, to the vibration of the earth. And I would say that is when my most authentic voice rose, because when I realized that everything I was looking for, I was actually sitting on, and I was a part of it. Those stones, that ocean, this city, this earth, this life, was vibrating through me, and it started to vibrate through my whole body. And this quality of deep love, like a profound love, the kind of love people seek their whole life for, came up through my body. And it was as though it claimed me or filled me like this very rich, powerful mother energy. And in this moment of where I'd sung for several hours along with these elements, I said, I understand, and if there's any way that I can sing for you, Mother, for you, Earth, to wake up people, to help us to understand that we're not alone, we're just disconnected. And so I made a promise in that moment that I would sing for that reconnection of humanity to the planet. And I would say that was where my soul, the alignment of my voice, everything moved into a new structuring.
That's beautiful, Peruquois. And, it also, what it reminds me of your story is that society, and plus ourselves, we try to box people into boxes, like you can't be this, or you can't be that, or can only be a jazz singer, you can't do this. It's like, why do people put labels on people and confine us to just a certain way to do things, or a certain type of music, when someone could be very multi-talented as you are? And I say, get out of the box,
Totally.
be your authentic self. And because I think that's one of the reasons why people are unhappy, is because they're trying to fit into a mold of someone else's idea, and they're really afraid to be themselves because of judgment. And by the way, I want to tell the audience that you fill music houses. I never heard of you before. Yes, before I got the press release, but then when I looked into you, I was like, wow, you are amazing. So, what kind of women's workshops do you do? That's separate from your singing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm working with sound, in truth, because the voice, everybody's voice, is their own vibrational bridge between the body and soul. And you would think then I would probably work with men and women if I took that position, but actually I work with women because something that happened to me early on was I realized that we women carry enormous trauma in our body and in our life experience. A lot of it is around our sexuality. And I went through a very, very early rape when I was 17, 18, so I lost my virginity. And I went through a very deep healing process on my own in the forest where I started to sound using my voice. It was in my very, very early days of trying to learn how to sing. But intuitively, I discovered this raw, primal sound and voice and, healing vibrations that when I trusted myself, because I didn't think anybody could hear me, I was walking deep in the forest every day, trying to let go of this pain. It was like a deep shame I carried inside. And when this happened, I actually brought myself out of this trauma and into healing, into a new trust. And my voice was restored, which was very important because at this point I was trying desperately to get into jazz conservatorium. So that was my first, if you like, self-initiation into the power of a woman's voice to be able to heal herself. Now, after I went through all of that jazz training and I had that realization on the mountain, then after that, I married a Native American. So not a long story, but I married a Native American medicine man and lived with him in New Mexico and America for 11 years. And that took me profoundly even deeper in my understanding on how to use the voice for healing. And I received a very powerful vision at that time in my life where I understood that my whole life was going to be devoted to helping other people to use their own voice. And it would coincide with the concert stage as well. So from the workshop to the concert stage, from the work, and that's exactly the pathway that I've followed for the last 30 years since I had that vision. But my work became more and more and more focused on helping women to heal themselves, to heal sexual trauma, to heal emotional trauma, to get them out of the mind and really deeply into their body, and to get this, I spoke about this love that rose up through me when I was on the edge of that mountain, on that dark night of the soul. But that was what restored me, and I realized that this is our natural state. This is not something supernatural. This is something natural, and it's just something that we've lost. So I spent years restoring and healing myself so that I could then go on to help a lot of women to restore and heal themselves and get that flow of love in their body. And it's a natural flow that rises up from the planet, just like, when you put your feet, for example, in the ocean or in a river, you feel like this buzz go through your body and just this feeling of health and goodness. Well, that's the innate flow of the feminine energy. So I help women through the workshop process to get that flow, and it's very sensual. It's almost like an orgasmic flow. It's a very healing and nourishing flow. I help them to restore and release a lot of the blockage and shackles that women have on their self-expression, their mistrust or their lack of being able to say how they feel, or keeping themselves, like you said, in the box, very small or very good in a good girl sort of syndrome, or with this virus that most women have on the planet, which is they feel that they're not enough,
Mm-hmm.
So they always
True.
have to do something. They always have to buy something. Time is catching up, age is catching up, wrinkles are catching up. The body's never good enough for them, or never perfect enough. It's like a huge virus inside of it. And it gets so much stronger when we don't have that root of love flowing through the body. So that's what my work is all about, is cleaning out all those dense, heavy energies of shame and pain and emotional trauma, and then opening up this very radiant beauty inside of her, this flow of love, so that she just really becomes herself. That's what my work's basically about.
That's beautiful, Peruquois. Thank you for doing the work that you do. And you're right, as women, we don't think we are good enough. I know I'm 65, and I look at other people and thinking, oh well, they've aged, and then I look at my picture like, well, I've aged too. And you don't think of yourself as that, but women, I think there's a lot of emphasis on women to look a certain way, be a certain way, especially in the time that I was growing up in the 60s and 70s. Twiggy was the model. Well, everyone wanted to be skinny like Twiggy, and the straight hair.
That hasn't changed.
Right. That has not changed.
That's not changed.
Yes, and just the pressure, I think, on women and young girls, especially now with social media, to look and be a certain way is cause such anxiety. And I think it's wonderful for someone to attend one of your workshops, to get in touch with themselves and connect, to find their inner beauty and their voice.
Yeah, definitely. Because you had this kind of skinny era of Twiggy, but now it's gotten so bad with plastic surgery. So many girls now, and girls are doing their lips, they're doing their breasts, they're doing implants, they're doing Botox, and just like killing the nerves in their face and killing the nerves in their brain, which makes them actually less intelligent, all in the name of some ideal of beauty. And, parents are giving gifts to their girls when they come out of school or university to go and have a breast job done. It's a travesty what is happening to women on the planet. And it really is a big work to pull women out of this horrific cycle and back into this deep sense of like, this is me, I love myself, I'm okay perfectly as I am, and it's a big work. It's definitely a big work. As you say, social media has amped it up 100-fold since even since you and I were younger, So
definitely. Yeah, the pressure.
The pressure, absolutely. And I do use the social media myself, but I use it in a way where I'm constantly giving tips to women, like how to trust themselves, how to accept themselves, So I use it in a positive way rather than just, flaunting, oh, this is how cool I am, or this is what I'm doing, or look at my amazing life, or look at my beautiful body. No. It's the media world can be used constructively, and of course for me it's become very, very helpful because I can be in Russia or Australia or Europe, but women can come to me and learn without my physical presence anymore. That's the wonderful thing about I built an amazing platform for women, and there's like about 14 or 15 courses on there on anything you could almost think of to do with women's world, so that women, and they're not expensive courses, so that women can come and do the healing work themselves with me, online. So it has a positive to it as well.
Yes. Yes, that social media does have its positive points. I mean, I'm able to do my show. It's heard. I'm able to connect with people. And then, of course, to every thing, there's upside and a downside. But, I don't really admire that many people in Hollywood. But I'll tell you what actress I admire. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. She is, you know who she is?
Yes, I do.
Yes, she is who she is. She didn't get any makeovers done. She is very proud of who she is, and I really admire her for that. Not making herself over. She's like, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah.
and I really admire that about Jamie Lee Curtis because she's, to me, very inspirational to women. And I'd like to know, Peruquois, how do people get in touch with you? How can they take your courses?
Mm-hmm. So it's very simple because I'm online, and it is Peruquois.com. Any way you spell that, you'll get to me. It's like Peru, the country, Qua. You can spell it with Quois, Kua. Doesn't matter. You'll get to me. You'll see Peruquois.com. And all my courses are there. And, of course, especially for women, who want to be inspired daily, my music inspires women to feel very good about themselves. It opens their heart. It opens their sensuality. It encourages them to dance. It encourages them to jump out of that box and be really a wild woman. There's many, many different aspects to the myriad of songs that I've written over the years, and they're on YouTube. There's some wonderful music clips because my policy is with music videos, go out into the nature, don't be too Hollywood about it, but go into the nature, connect with the nature, and film the music clips there so that women, when they come to YouTube, they'll see on all the songs, I record in amazing places like Bali, like in the mountains of Russia, Australia, everywhere, and it's a great source for people to be able to get inspired and reminded every day of how beautiful a woman is, how beautiful she is. And that's, I guess, the constant reflection that women give to me. Is like, I'm so grateful because whenever I watch you, it reminds me of how beautiful I am, So there's the YouTube platform of Peruquois, and there's the website, Peruquois.com. And there you'll find I've actually recorded about 10 music CDs. And as I said, there's about 14 courses online to do with healing sexuality, guilt, healing when you've aborted a baby, all sorts of things. Anything to think of in women's world, that it's pretty much addressed in that platform.
Well, I saw some of your videos on YouTube, and I just think that you're a beautiful person. Your music is beautiful and inspiring, and I want to encourage women. I wish I knew in my 20s what I know now, and I wish there was people like you, Peruquois, to encourage women, for women to get in touch and find their voice and to see the beauty of themselves. And it's you're never too old to change. I found my own voice at the age of 60. Said I'm 65 now.
Amazing.
And never did I thought I would be talking and doing a radio show. Never.
Yeah.
That never occurred to me because I don't like the sound of my own voice. So I didn't think anyone else would listen to it. But we don't see the beauty.
That's the thing, because what I hear in your voice, it transmits a quality of goodness, of maturity, of a wise woman, And that's very valuable, because I think, both of us perhaps transmit this quality of a more mature woman who's been through a lot, and we can help other women to go through supported and loved in the ways that perhaps their own mother couldn't do for them, not because she's a bad person, but just because maybe she didn't have the direction either, So there's a lot of direction and, consciously helping women through, and all the women need to do is reach out, and it's there for them.
Yes. I would just love to tell the young women who are listening a bit of advice from a mature woman. If you're in college or you're in high school and you're listening, take care of yourself and get in touch with Peruquois and be who you are meant to be. And don't let people put you in a box and tell you could only be this or you could be that, or you shouldn't be this way or that way. Because you know what? When we're not our authentic selves, we're miserable.
So
and
true.
The only way to be happy is to be your authentic self. And it took me a long time to realize that. And I really do wish there were mentors really back when I was growing up, because, you weren't allowed to bend the rules and to be out of the norm. But I just, we don't see ourselves the way other people see us. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you have a nice voice. You have a voice for radio." I never would have thought that. Never would have thought that. So, excuse me. And I just really admire the work that you do. And I would encourage the women out there to go on your website, and it will be in the blog, and to listen to your music. And I just feel led to say, you know what, we are in a constant, as long as we're living, we're constantly evolving and learning.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the beauty.
That never stops, no matter how old you are. When you love life, you keep learning and you keep growing. And I want to add a little thought to your thought, because I loved it so much. And I actually put it into a song when my daughter was growing up too. She's 23 now, but when she was going through that same questioning of, I don't fit in the world, I'm not like other girls, I wrote her this song, but it's very relevant, I think, to everybody. That says, be, excuse me, be yourself. Don't try to impress. Maybe there isn't everybody else but like you. Don't try to imitate. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Authenticity is the only way to live your life freely. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Be yourself. Listen with your heart. So just to follow on your thought there.
That is beautiful. Peruquois, I'm in New Jersey, America, and you just sent chills. Like, I got goosebumps from that song, because that is so beautiful, so profound. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that song. I believe that all my interviews go the way they're supposed to. And I believe that people out there needed to hear that song, and you sang it. You gave us a glimpse, and you sang it, and someone needed to hear that. So many times and especially young women, think, well, I don't look like this one or that one. I don't sound like this one or that one. And I heard someone say a comment, be you, not a carbon copy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were meant, I believe when God made us, we were meant to be ourselves and not someone else, not to copy someone else. And I want to thank you for coming on today. I can't talk.
Peruquois.
No, Peruquois. Thank you, Peruquois. Peruquois. You're a beautiful person, and I thank you for coming on and sharing. That song was just sent chills down. That's a glimpse, folks. I would highly recommend going on YouTube and checking out more of Peruquois' music. And you just got a little glimpse. You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's really been a pleasure to connect with you and feel your love and your care, for your audience. And I send my big love out to all your audience and very much second the feeling for, and of course not just for the women but for the men as well.
Yes.
It really is. It takes some time to get out of the box and the voices that are in your head to clean them out, because then most of the time all those negative thoughts, they're not your own. They've been put in there by some past, some person you respected, and internalized as just a negative loop. And it's cleaning that out that makes us be able to start to hear our authentic internal voice and then bring it into the world. So, there is work to be done for all of us to get rid of and clean out those voices and to find out really what is this truth, what is this authentic original voice that you are given. So thank you so much, Betsy, and love to you all.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. We're so much connected. I'm so glad we're able to connect and have a great connection. Thank you for what you do, Peruquois, and it's a pleasure talking to you and hearing you sing. I'm so honored that you sang on my show. I am deeply, deeply honored. Thank you so much. Folks, I'm completely honest with my audience. I'm 65. I am working on myself. I am clearing out. Talking about, voices. Even at my age, I have to, every day, I have to convince myself, yes, I am good enough. I am good enough to talk to people. And, it is a voices from our past, and that's not our voice. And I would just want to encourage men and women out there to take courses to improve on yourself. And I think there's nothing more beautiful to me than a man who can be vulnerable and show his emotion. I think that's a beautiful thing, and we really need to teach our boys, those of us who are raising boys, that it's okay to cry and show emotion. And that's a whole nother show. I've talked about that before. But thank you, Peruquois, for coming on, and much love and good wishes to you as you travel around the world. I hope you have safe travels. And I want to thank the audience. You're welcome. I want to thank the audience for listening. Please share the show to help someone else. The basis of my show is to help people, help you to have a better life, better quality of life. And that's why I have phenomenal guests on. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss any of my guests. So please subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, which is free on iHeart, Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, to name a few. The information about Peruquois will be in the blog that Jeannie White, who's station manager, writes. And thank you, Jeannie, for doing the blog and producing the show. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO at Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And you can find me, Betsy Wurzel, on Facebook and you can get a glimpse into my life. And if you are looking for a support group, if you're a caregiver, know a caregiver, you can join my support group, #Kick Alzheimer's S Movement. To vent, we're a family at Kick Alzheimer's S Movement. It's not just a group. We feel like family. And I just wanted to say that. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind, shine your light bright, because if we all did that, it would be a much kinder, brighter world. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.